He was able to take them and abducted them again. They were gone for 15 months. I didn't see my kids. I wasn't able to talk to them. And unfortunately, that was only because this judge had the power to do that. I made a decision that I would never allow the court system and the judge to decide who raises my kids, how my assets will be passed down, because that's exactly what estate planning is.
Yes.
You are taking things into your own hand so that you're not leaving it up to the judge.
Welcome to Growing Your Business with Buddy Broyles, helping businesses share their voice, build authority, and grow through meaningful conversations. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is my new friend, Ummi Lawan with Harmony Legal Group. Ummi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, buddy?
I'm very well. Thank you for coming in today and being a guest on my show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So tell me about Harmony. How long have y'all been around? What do you do? What sets you apart? 3 questions.
Yeah, 3 questions. How long have we been in business? So we've been in business for 6 years now, and we do estate planning. So for those who don't know, I like to describe it as helping our clients make a proactive plan about what happens to their body when they become incapacitated and what happens to their assets and their loved ones when they pass away. It's a very difficult topic for a lot of people, so we like to make it as easy and as seamless as possible to think about and to actually plan.
Well, and a lot of people don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
So how do you open the conversation? You know, someone's contacted you, presumably. How does the conversation start?
We really focus on our core value, which is helping people get the peace of mind that they deserve. And so when we go at it from that approach, it really allows people to feel comfortable. This is you doing the right thing for yourself and for your loved ones. And so once they wrap their heads around that process of getting that peace of mind, it becomes a lot easier for them to talk about. Yeah.
Businesses are born out of your own story and your own history.
Yeah.
How did you get to this place running this business?
That's a great question. So I began my career at a, big law firm in downtown Dallas, doing the corporate law, all the things, corner office. And then, unfortunately, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And at that time, I was fighting against people who had cancer. And so, as you can tell, there was a conflict there. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted something more fulfilling. And so estate planning stood out to me for a couple of reasons. First thing was that when my mom was sick, my brother and I bought her house. And she was supposed to live in it, and it belonged to us after she passed away. But my brother had no idea I contributed anything or how much I contributed. So when my mom realized that, she decided to leave a handwritten note. And it stated I owned 53% interest in that house.
On a handwritten note.
On a handwritten note, which saved my family from a huge conflict. Because without that note, my brother wouldn't have known, right? He would have thought it was his house, but, and so my mom wanted to make sure that there was no conflict. And when I saw how powerful that piece of paper that she left was really to my family, it pushed me towards doing something in a legal way that's more fulfilling. And estate planning was exactly that. You're leaving instructions and guidelines for your loved ones when you're gone. And so when I started searching for a new practice area, I had a mentor who did estate planning. So when she told me this is the most fulfilling area of law, I was like, okay, I have to do this. I have to do this. Now, I don't know if it's too long of an answer, but the second reason, should I go into it?
I did ask 3 questions,
okay.
so
All right.
3 answers are welcome.
The second reason why I decided estate planning was something I wanted to do was my kids. So I'm a mother. I have 3 kids, and back when I started this practice, I had 2 kids. I went through a nasty divorce. And after I went through that divorce, unfortunately, my ex abducted the 2 kids.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. It was a hard time, and they were gone for a couple months. And I was able to get them back after going through a lot of pain and stress. And I was able to get a restraining order against my ex to try to make sure that he only gets supervised visits so he doesn't do it again. Unfortunately, when I got that temporary restraining order, by law, it expired within 2 weeks. So I had no choice but to go back to court and renew that restraining order. And so unfortunately, when I went back to court, the judge on our case was out sick. So we had a visiting judge. We call them visiting judges when they're just kind of substituting for another judge. And that visiting judge decided to deny everything I asked for. And unfortunately, he had the power to.
Sure.
Judges have the powers to decide things that affect your life and your kids' lives. And at that time, that really affected my my life and my kids, because my ex was able to access the kids, just freely. And he was able to take them and abducted them again
Oh,
a
goodness
year and a half
gracious.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Horrible.
they were gone for 15 months. I didn't see my kids. I wasn't able to talk to them. And unfortunately, that was only because this judge had the power to do that.
Yeah.
And so to me, I made a decision that I would never allow the court system and the judge to decide who raises my kids, how my assets will be passed down, because that's exactly what estate planning is.
Yes.
You are taking things into your own hand so that you're not leaving it up to the judge and the court system to decide those things for you.
So your whole business is personal empowerment now and in the future.
Yeah,
Especially when you have the least amount of power is when you're gone,
exactly.
right? So you're empowering people ahead of that. Wow. What a
Yeah.
great business.
Yeah.
And
And
very
I
important
always
business.
tell people, if you don't have a plan in place, you really do, because it's either you plan it or the state of Texas plans it for you. It's there, it's written. So you get to choose if you want to change that plan, or if that plan that Texas has for you is good, then great. Just you better pray that they don't change it, because
Yeah.
the laws
They can at any
change.
time.
Yeah, they can change it whenever they feel like it. Yeah.
So walk me through a customer journey. You know, like I said, someone sits down with you, they're feeling empowered to do this. You know, their family has agreed to do this. They've agreed. What is the process like? How long does it take?
Yeah.
What type of paperwork? How can you prepare them for a meeting with you?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great question, because this leads into what sets us apart from a
Yes.
lot of other estate planning firms. So when I got into estate planning, let me start here. When I got into estate planning, I pretty much quickly realized that there are two main ways that attorneys do estate planning. There's a traditional transactional way, and there is a new way, which is very different from that. And very few attorneys were doing it that way. So I did a lot of research. I interviewed a lot of estate planning attorneys. And so when I when I started doing estate planning, if I only had the option to do it the traditional transactional way, I would have left a long time ago.
Yeah.
I would have left estate planning, because it's just failing families and it's not working the way it's supposed to. So the way that we approach it is very different from what most people have experienced. If you've worked with an estate planning attorney before, you probably know that, you get a few minutes with them, they create form documents for you, you take them home, and you never hear from that attorney ever again. And you hope those documents are going to be exactly what you want them to be. And so when we serve our clients, we start with a educational process, right? We really focus on educating the person before they even meet with us. And so hopefully they would have attended an educational event, and then they move into a meeting, a 2-hour meeting with an attorney. This is non-negotiable, and I'll tell you why. If you go in and create an estate plan and you have a few minutes even with an attorney, it's very likely it's not going to work the way you want it. And the reason is because that attorney has not spent enough time understanding your unique situation, your family dynamics, all the things, right? And I always like to tell this story about a client of mine who he met with me for that 2-hour session. He did not mention anything about his sister being in trouble until the end of the 2-hour session.
Oh, no.
Why is that? Because he wasn't the kind that would get comfortable after a few minutes. A lot of people are not. So it took him those 2 hours to get comfortable, and then he mentioned that. So we spent another probably 30 minutes talking about, his sister. And so we ended up creating a provision in his trust where if this sister creates a problem, she does not get to inherit anything.
Wow.
And so that was intentional, because when he passed, and unfortunately he did pass away a couple of years later, and we tried to administer his trust, and she definitely came up and tried to make trouble. She actually worked for a law firm. She sent me this fancy letter, just threatening us. And I said, okay, let's sit down and have a conversation, and I'm going to tell you what your brother wanted. And if we don't do it this way, unfortunately, you're not going to get anything. And so because of that, she dropped it, and his estate was administered a few weeks after he passed away. And so this is a long-winded answer to say, when we start working with our client, we've got to make sure that we truly understand the family dynamics. And that's why that 2-hour family legacy planning session with an attorney is non-negotiable.
That makes sense.
And so that's the first step. And then we have typically, I would say the big picture is we have a 3-step process.
Okay.
That's the first step, where we get to know the client, we design a plan for them. The second step would be to sign their documents. So in person, they come into our office, sign everything, make sure it's effective, but we make sure they understand what they're signing before they sign it. And then the third step is my favorite. That's the family legacy interview.
Ooh.
So after working with hundreds of clients, I have come to learn that the most important things we leave behind are not just the finances and the documents. It really comes down to our entire legacy. So how do you do that? We have a process where we record our clients on a video.
Wonderful.
And we ask them questions, and they share their spiritual, their human, and their intellectual assets with their loved ones. And so that way their loved ones have that to keep forever, and they can watch it at any time. And the reason why I personally incorporated this in my process with my clients is because when my mom was sick, I recorded our phone call.
Yeah.
And many phone calls, actually. And I really wanted to go back and listen to those phone calls, but unfortunately, they were all gone.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because I forgot to renew the subscription for this app that I had used to record it. And I was devastated because to me, that was the most important thing that my mom left behind. And so that's why we incorporate that, and our clients love that process.
I believe it.
Yeah, yeah. And then lastly, after we do all of that, to me, I think this is actually just as important as setting up the plan itself, reviewing and updating the plan every 3 years.
Yes.
So we reach out to our clients, absolutely at no cost to them. We ask them to invite them to go through the review process. And if everything is up to date, great. If it's not, then we go through that updating process, make sure everything reflects their current wishes.
Oh, that's wonderful. So
Yeah.
it keeps them in the loop.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, being, with your legal training, laws change.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very important to stay
Absolutely.
present,
Absolutely.
as the laws
Laws
change.
change, wishes change. People get mad at a family member. They want to take them out. Sometimes life is just different.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a new grandchild. Maybe
Sure.
there's so many different things that can change.
Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. What is the favorite thing you would say about what you do at Harmony?
Ooh, hands down, when I get that very tight hug from a client after we're done signing their documents, and some of them in tears, just thanking me for helping them just put something in place because they've been wanting to do it for so long and they just haven't found the right fit or the right way to do it that makes sense to them. And that tight hug and those tears is everything to me.
Let's talk about service area. We're right now in the North Dallas area.
Yeah.
Where do you find your customers? What's the area you serve?
Typically the DFW area in general. So anywhere from North Dallas to Fort Worth to Dallas proper to South Dallas. I get a lot of Dallas clients as well. But yeah, all over the DFW area. Sometimes we get people actually in Houston and San Antonio.
Yeah.
And that's okay because we're licensed in Texas and the laws are all the same. Some people are happy to even drive to come see us. You wouldn't believe it, but it happens. But sometimes we also just send a notary to their house so that we make it easier for them to sign the documents. Yeah.
Why did you choose Harmony for the business name? Tell me about that.
So we used to be Lawan Law Group. Lawan is my last name. I think it was early last year or 2 years ago. I woke up one day and I was like, what is our core value? So whenever I went back and thought about our core value is to give our clients peace of mind that keeps their loved ones out of court and out of conflict, keeping harmony in their family. And so I just been going back and forth between that and another name. And I am just a huge huge believer in science. And so at some point, I'm not sure where it happened. I was having a conversation with a friend, and harmony just stood out to me for no particular reason, because I think, again, it just goes back to our core value, because our goal is to keep harmony among our clients' families. So harmony is the right
the key word for what you do. I like as a value.
It's our core value.
Yeah.
Basically. And so that made sense for us.
And a mission too.
It's a mission.
Is to create harmony.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with your customers. And to circle back every 3 years to make sure they still are harmonious.
Exactly.
in their family. And,
keep
and
things
all those
harmonious.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Best way to reach you? Is it through your website portal? Tell me how do people find you?
A lot of people find us actually on Facebook, believe it or not. But I would say if you want to look us up and kind of learn a little bit more about us and the team and what we do, I would say our website, hlglegal.com.
Excellent.
So if you search Harmony Legal Group on Google, it's going to take you to the website.
Terrific.
But I would say definitely find us on social media. We do a lot of social media, and we do a lot of presentations that are webinars. And so that's how a lot of people find us, through the Facebook event post and stuff like that.
That's great. And everything Ummi has given me, if you're listening or watching, just scroll to the show notes, and all of their socials will be there along with their website. So, and we can update that every 3 years or as needed.
As needed, that's right.
As needed. That's excellent. Parting thoughts for people who have been thinking about this, but have the concerns, because this is so personal, right? What would you say to them?
I always like to ask my clients, if people are struggling with, who am I even going to choose? How am I even going to start this process? I like to ask my clients or prospects or people I have conversations with, is there anyone in your life, or is there anything you would like to decide that you would rather have some say than leave it up to a judge and a complete stranger to decide that for you? When you start with that really changes the perspective of, what you're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to people with kids, and they're wondering, I don't know who to name to raise my child. And I'm like, would you rather have a judge name a random stranger?
Right.
And they say no. Well, then let's go through an exercise of thinking about these people. It's just a starting point. People feel overwhelmed because they're trying to make all the decisions at once. So that's why working with us, I think, it sets us apart a lot. What sets us apart is the fact that we take it one step at a time.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's a kindness.
Yeah.
For those who love you, because not only are they grieving and mourning and
Absolutely.
challenged in that area, now if you haven't prepared, now there's a greater burden.
100%. And we do the probate side of things, and your loved ones could end up paying anywhere from 3 to 40% actually of your estate. If you have a $500,000 estate, you're looking at $15,000 to $200,000 that your loved ones may be paying simply because you didn't have anything in place. And you also have the peace of mind of knowing they're going to do exactly what you would want them to do.
Yeah, your wishes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, Ummi, thanks for coming on the show today and sharing your passion for what you do and why you do it. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me, Buddy. Really appreciate it. This has been fun.